The Deadly Toys. This is Wonder Woman season 2, starring the immortal Linda Carter. We're going to talk about this episode using my space system, of course. Starting with the storyline, I'm going to give the storyline a 1.5. I thought it was really neat. This episode is not going to get a big high score. It's going to get like a decent kind of score, but I do like the story. Because it's Frank Gorshin creating androids, and he makes an android of Wonder Woman, and you're like, yeah, that's really neat. There's this group of scientists that they're working on something called the XYZ project. It got abandoned. And then the scientists are being replaced by androids. The reason I can't give it a 2 out of 2 for the story is that I kind of lost the point of what's happening. Like it turns out one of the guys involved in the project, who is Steve Trevor's buddy, is actually the villain. But if he was working on the project, why couldn't he just get it? I don't know. It wasn't very clear. And I think that they missed an opportunity to have the Wonder Woman and the android really kind of fight it out. The androids were kind of lame. They would just melt or whatever. But I like the concept of what's going on, right? Like making these androids. Frank Gorshin's this toy maker. So there's also toys that attack you. There's a little dog that, puts the guy to sleep. There's like little toy soldiers that shoot little darts out. That's kind of neat too. So I do like those parts. So I think the concept and what they wanted to tell was really cool. It just maybe didn't come out. It didn't play out as well. The pacing, I'll give it a 1. It's a little bit slow because Diana she's like, we know what's going on. And because the story isn't really exactly explained perfectly, you feel like you're like a little bit lost. So you're just kind of watching things play out. You're not really engaged that much. I think they could have used Frank Gorshin better because it would have been great if he was Toyman. If he was an actual like villain or whatever, that would have been really cool. I'll just pretend he's Toyman. But anyways, yeah, I wasn't bored or anything like that, but it wasn't as exciting as some of the other ones for me. The artistry is also going to get a 1. There's not a heck of a lot of use of Wonder Woman's powers in this one. There's a little bit of jump in, and she blocks a couple of bullets. That's about it. She fights this airplane thing, which is like, it's more like she just blocks this airplane homes in on Diana, and it's going to shoot her, and she just blocks it and then just takes it down, and that's it. It wasn't, and the androids, there wasn't really big fighting. You'd think androids there'd be more fighting, right? But they just kind of melt away. Like as soon as they're discovered, they melt. Like these androids are kind of lame. And the Wonder Woman android herself was neat. I liked that she met Diana. That was kind of fun, but it didn't really go anywhere. The characters, I'm going to give the characters a 1.5. I like the characters. Obviously, Linda Carter's the best, and we know that. So she's always like awesome. Frank Gorshin was neat. He was an eccentric scientist guy. I wish there was more with him. I wish there would have been just a little bit more with him. And the other villains were like okay. I liked that Steve Trevor had a relationship with one of the guys. And when he finds out that this is the guy who's the bad guy. He feels kind of bad, but he's not that distraught over it. So I would have liked to have maybe played that a little bit more. Ira's in here, the computer, who, he's goes from being kind of funny to somewhat irritating sometimes. So it is what it is. He was okay. But I liked Frank Gorshin. Obviously I like Wonder Woman. I like Steve Trevor. I think this like hanging back, Steve Trevor's better for me. And then because he doesn't have to be goofy. He could just just give her assignments and that's it. The enjoyment factor, I still kind of liked this episode, even though I found it a bit slow. I'll give it a 1.5. I really liked this episode anyways because of the gimmick of the androids and the toys. It just wasn't fulfilled as much as I would want. I think the memory of the episode in my head is better than the actual, sometimes you remember something and you think how great it was and you watch it and you're like, well, it wasn't that great, but then you still have that memory of it being cool. So I always remember this one as a kid thinking, oh yeah, it was Frank Gorshin. He makes these toys and all that. And it just plays in my head. I think in my head, it plays differently than it really does. So I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. That's a 6 is your pass. It's like, yeah, it was okay. It's fine. It's a pass. It's fine. you got to watch it because Linda Carter's in it. She's the best. So there you go. So overall, 6.5 out of 10 for this one. Please make sure you like the video and check out the other Wonder Woman stuff. There's lots on there, and there's lots of Batman stuff, and I've got my Superman playlist too. So a lot of great Trinity DC stuff on here. So thanks, guys, for watching. Until next time.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.